The following opinions are solely those of BoatTEST.com and its test captain.
Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTEST.com, and today I'm on the Wellcraft 262. Now, the design team at Wellcraft told me that they made this to be a fishing and family-friendly center console, so let's take a look and see how they've done.
The 262 serves as a good progression from the 22 and 24-foot models, and it's instantly recognizable as a Wellcraft thanks to its DNA flag on the outside, but there's a lot going on the inside.
At the stern, Wellcraft provided a thoughtful touch service platform to give you easy access to the engines. Let's take a look at the fishing features, starting at the stern. No shortage of rod holders. We've got 6 going across the transom, 2 that are also serving as cup holders, 4 going up either side of the gunnels for an additional 8, 2 at the rigging station, and then 7 rocket launcher style for a total of 23. And I like how a fish cleaning station can go into any of the rod holders. We've got 2 bait wells in the port quarter, 27-gallon, 17-gallon in the starboard quarter, 25-gallon just ahead at the rigging station. Now notice, over to the starboard side, this one also doubles as freshwater sink. And I like how this one also has a clear window to keep an eye on our bait.
The open space in the cockpit provides 34 inches by 6 feet 8 inches of working room and the safety factor of a 28-inch cockpit depth.
Where we normally see 2-inch deck drains, these are 3.5-inch. There's one to each side, and yes, they drain directly overboard. Now here's a nice feature. To the starboard side, an opening dive door, tuna door, however you want to call it, even call it a boarding door, at its narrowest 20 inches wide. And I like how the rigging station also serves as a cutting surface. There's hook holders, handholds, drink and rod holders. Now to both sides, we've got storage for tackle boxes. And also notice that to the side decks, we've got pull-out potato bins that also hold additional tackle boxes. And instead of having to go all the way to the front and back, we can simply bring these back and put them into these holders. Keep it there for the whole day. There are 50-gallon fish boxes to both side decks, and they're macerated. Notice how the hatches are held open by gas assist struts. There's undergunnel storage for rods up to 5.5 feet long, and notice how the bulkheads are padded to protect the reels. And we conclude our look at the fishing features with index storage for rods up to 8 feet long. Now let's transition over to family features. For the most part, the 262 keeps the fishing features at the stern and the family features in the bow, with one notable exception, this seat that crosses over between the two. And notice how it easily deploys. We measured this at 35 inches wide, and the seat itself is 19 inches off the deck. Well, comfort is certainly the key word for the family features at the bow, with 2 bench seats forward facing thanks to these removable backrests, and we've got an aft facing seat all the way forward, cooler in the middle. Now here's a neat feature. If we simply unsnap the strap holding the cooler in place, slide it on back, now we add another seat, making an interesting conversational atmosphere. Add a table, and now we've got an inviting cocktail atmosphere. There's a self-draining insulated cooler fully forward, and to both sides, additional self-draining storage that can also double as a fish locker.
And there's no shortage of speakers to the premium sound system.
Now, if I had to come up with one thing to pick on, it would be these seat backs. While they're certainly comfortable, when someone's sitting on them and leaning against them, they stay secure. But when no one is sitting in this seat, they tend to vibrate themselves loose and fall on the deck. Just a mechanism for locking them in position would be nice. Moving to operations, we'll start at the bow, where we've got an anchor mounted on top of an anchor roller, quick windlass just to the side, access to get to the road, cleat for securing the road. Now let's move to the console that first is protected by this standard hardtop. It's curved at the top so it sheds water and keeps water from pooling underneath the antennas. The option is this electronics box that's compartmentalized with access to the front and rear. Now this can allow a charter captain to keep his stuff separated from the customers.
Speakers and LED lights are to the front and rear. 3-color lights illuminate the helm area.
The console itself is all black. Switches going across the top are lighted when activated. We've got a 4-inch SmartCraft display, a 10-inch moving map display, and plenty of room over to the other side for an additional display. Controls for the Lenco trim tabs, I'd like to see them move just to the side so that I can activate them while my hands are still on the throttles. Steering wheel is over to the left-hand side. I like the steering knob, and it's a tilt wheel. The stereo is in front of the companion with connectivity just below. Down below, We have footrests both for standing and for while we're sitting. In the I'd like to see category, move the compass in line with the helm station. And the seats have flip-down armrests and flip-up bolsters. Coming around to the front of the console, a little bit of a different access. Instead of the door opening to the side, here it opens up. And in this manner, Wellcraft is able to provide much more of an open space to get into the compartment. And here we have 6 feet of standing headroom. Now, while this console hatch certainly provides more access, there is only one drawback, and that just has to do with visibility. Snap-in storage compartments are to both side bulkheads. Just above, we've got the ship's main electrical panel with the 2 battery switches. This boat is obviously set up for storage, but we can certainly order ahead. Light just above, and we have access to get behind the panel. And of course, options exist for a different leaning post, snap-in carpet, single engine power, and alternative hull colors.
Now let's get her on the water and see how she performs. With the twin Mercury 250 Verados turning 21 pitch 3-bladed Mirage Plus props, we reached our top speed at 56.8 miles per hour at 6150 RPM. Best economic cruise was reached at 3500 RPM, where our speed was 32 miles per hour, fuel burn was 16 gallons per hour, and our range came in at 284 miles, while still holding back 10% of the boat's 158-gallon total fuel capacity. Her handling characteristics certainly left us feeling impressed. For starters, we reached planing speed in 4 seconds, accelerated to 20 miles per hour in 6.1, and continued on through 30 in 8.7 seconds. Sadly, we had a flat comp test day, so we couldn't verify the capabilities of the Scarab Offshore pedigree, but she did handle our self-generated chop with no hull slap whatsoever and a smooth transition on through. In our turn test, she had quick response and showed good authority like she was on rails, and there was no hint of prop ventilation at any speed.
Well, clearly there are features that are both fish and family friendly on the 262 Wellcraft. And that's my full look. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.